All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Fiddlehead Brewing Company, and they're out of Shelburne, Vermont, and this is their Imperial IPA. So it's an Imperial IPA that comes in at 9% alcohol by volume, 70 IBUs at the time of review. This can is just under 6 weeks old. So this is the newest entry into the year-round lineup from Fiddlehead, and this is essentially an Imperial version of their IPA, which I have reviewed on the channel. And I usually don't do this because I forget and I'm not a great beer tuber, but I went back to look at the Fiddlehead IPA review I did just to kind of get a understanding of what I said about that beer specifically. So when I'm drinking this one, I can be like, oh, okay, I can actually compare them, right? Because a lot of times I don't do that. I'm like, I wish I would have, went back and looked at my review. Well, I actually did for once. Now, on the side of the can, they say this one is for you fern believers. The taste profile you love from our Fiddlehead IPA, but with more swagger. Our Imperial IPA brings the accessibility of our beloved IPA and its signature hoppiness in a stronger format. Bright, citrusy, and piney with a well-balanced delivery. Now, the reason why I read the tasting notes is because they're very generic, but I went back and looked at the review of the Fiddlehead IPA, and this is just supposed to be like an Imperial version of that. So anyway, don't know the hops or anything. Fiddlehead's very secretive of the hop bills for most of their beers. Anyway, gonna give it a pour. Now, the one thing I did say about the Fiddlehead IPA was I was surprised that it kind of looked like a New England IPA. Like it had a haze to it. It kind of looked a little bit lighter. I thought a lot of Fiddlehead beers used to have like not great clarity, but it was definitely unfiltered, but not like milky or whatever. So yeah, this one has like the new school kind of haze look to it, kind of like the Fiddlehead IPA did. There's a couple folks that posted comments that were like, yeah, that beer used to look a lot different. It was a lot more clear. It didn't look like a New England IPA. So yeah, anyway, I just poured that and it smells like fucking straight up marijuana. And that's the one thing that I remember about Fiddlehead IPA going back. I don't even have to go back to the review, but I did go back, but I remember it being super dank in the nose, but it didn't carry over the taste. Anyway, this looks fucking awesome in the glass. Like, it doesn't have that super, like, you poured milk into orange juice, shout out to Joe. But, yeah, I mean, it definitely has that kind of turbidity you expect. It has a deep orange color, very murky and turbid. It has almost a two-finger of this super creamy white-colored head. It looks beautiful. Hold it up to light, can't see anything through it. But, like, as far as, like, any kind of, like, IPA nowadays, hazy, New England, whatever, looks great. Let's get a nose. It's so fucking dank. Like, it smells like straight up weed. You know what it smells like? You're going to see this review, obviously, after I reviewed, a couple days ago, and again, you're going to see that also on the channel. I reviewed Spaten, their premium lager, their Munich Helles, whatever you want to call it. And that was skunky because it's in a green bottle. That's what this smells like. I know. But it has that, that weed, that skunkiness you get with the weed, that dank herbaceousness. But they say citrus in it. In the IPA, same thing. Sweeter candy citrus. There's orange. There's grapefruit. Tangerine. But sweeter candied versions of those. A little bit of like a peach and a mango. Maybe a touch of like a guava. Passion fruit. Very slight though. But then honestly in the nose, it's very dank. It's very herbaceous. It almost has like pine resin. That is the predominant note in the nose. Like that's blanketing everything else, especially the fruit characters. This smells very akin to their IPA, which their IPA is like 6.2, something like 6.3 ABV. Yeah, it smells fucking awesome. So did the Fiddlehead IPA. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, it's fucking really good. When they say this is a bigger version of their Fiddlehead IPA, they're not lying. Now, the one difference that I can say right off the bat, and it could have been just my can last time or maybe the can this time, that dankness in Fiddlehead IPA didn't translate into the nose as much as I was thinking it was going to. On the finish, it was more like a big resinous pine with like dankness being like a tertiary character in the finish. This, however, the dankness is there very present on the palate. Body's higher side, medium, lower side, a full 9% appropriate. The mouthfeel, it's crisp on the palate. It's almost moderately carbonated. We'll say mild to moderately carbonated, more approaching moderately. However, there is a smooth, creamy sensation in this one. And I dig that. I dig that a lot. Shout out to the train going by. Right up front, though, it's just a lot of citrus. Candied citrus. It's candied orange. Again, candied tangerine, ruby red grapefruit. It's a lot of sweeter, juicier, candied citrus fruit. However, somewhere around halfway through the palate, other characters start coming in, and as it finishes, all that like sweetness kind of dies out. So little peach, little pineapple, guava, passion fruit, all middle of the palate. But again, very minute. It didn't carry over, or it did carry over because in the nose I said the same thing. There wasn't a lot of that, tropical and stone fruit. The finish, though, is where that weed-esque marijuana vibe hits. Very dank and herbaceous, resinous pine. This finish is mild to moderately bitter, like smack dab in the middle, maybe slightly closer to moderately bitter. However, there's a big dryness for me on this one. This is full-on dry. So between the dryness and the bitterness, it really tones down that first half of the palate, first 2/3 of the palate, where it's really sweet citrus through and through. And the 9% is the scary thing here, because on the palate, there's no fucking I have no idea it's 9%. In the chest, yeah, there's a warming. It's nice. Each sip goes down, gets a little bit warmer in the chest. Listen, I am not somebody who will myself typically go out and buy 19.2 fluid ounce stovepipe cans to just sit and throw back because I can't anymore. I drink one beer a day typically. This is a little bit above probably what I want personally because of that. However, we're talking about the price and availability momentarily, but for a 9% Imperial IPA that looks like this, that tastes like this, the value is 100% here. And this is just under 6 weeks old. When I picked this up, it was like around 3 weeks old. This is drinking extremely well, just under 6 weeks old. Fresher, this is probably even better. I know that's like fucking, yeah, duh, Captain Obvious, but I'm just saying, if I would have drank this right when I bought it, it probably has more intenseness to it. Like, the intensity is probably on another level. I don't know if I'd want that from that, like, that dank herbaceousness, but I definitely would want maybe a little bit more intensity to, like, the tropical and stone fruits, but I don't think that's how it would necessarily work. Good glass lacing. A fucking really nice beer. Am I going nuts over this? No, but is this a appropriate, proper, good addition to their year-round lineup? Abso-fucking-lutely it is. Like, it is. If you're in the mood, like you have a shitty day at work or you're just having a shitty day in general and you want something that's going to, make you feel a little good, taste good, go get a stovepipe or two of this, sit down for 2 or 3 hours, enjoy yourself. It'd be feeling real good. Yeah, man. Rating on this one. I give the Fiddlehead IPA a 4 out of 5. That was another reason I wanted to go see what I exactly gave it. This is definitely better than the Fiddlehead IPA. It's also, almost 3% higher in ABV, so kind of expected that. But they say, like, it's everything, where does it say? The taste profile you love from our Fiddlehead IPA, but with more swagger. It pretty much is a more intense version of their Fiddlehead IPA. It has more booze to it, but you can't really tell as much on the palate. It just has an intensity as a whole that kind of screams 9%, but yeah, I don't know. Imperial IPA, Fiddlehead. High 4.25, 4.35, all fucking day long. This is awesome. And I imagine I could probably walk into like my Wegmans grocery store and just like pick this off the fucking, from the cooler. They'd be just sitting there next to like, Sierra Nevada fucking Torpedo or whatever else is in these. And listen, Torpedo's a great beer, but I'm just saying the fact that a Fiddlehead beer is next to like Sierra Nevada and like Goose Island and shit is crazy. It's crazy that Fiddlehead is kind of a shelfy brewery at this point. I'm reviewing this as a shelfy beer for the month of April 2024, and they are totally a shelfy brewery. And they are a fucking great shelfy brewery. Plain and simple. Price point, I paid $3.99 at my local bottle shop. I'm sure you can probably find it more in like the $2.99 to maybe $3.49 range. Even if you're paying the $4 I did, when you take in consideration that when you add it all together, you're going to be like what? Like around 70, 76, almost 77 ounces if you were to buy 4 of these for $16. That's more than a 6-pack and a 9% beer for like $16. Like, it's a fucking, like, but if you can pay $3.50 and you get $14, it's fucking even better. But like, the value is here for this beer. And then availability, it's Fiddlehead. Go to their website. I'm pretty sure they say where they distribute and whatnot. Pretty sure they're throughout New England, most of the New England region, Mid-Atlantic. They get a couple other like random weird states that I can't think of right now, but it's like, oh, they distribute there. It's kind of weird. But when they do the Brewers Association top 50 beers or top 50 breweries in terms of like production, Fiddlehead's been in the top 50 like the last 3 years, definitely last 2, but last 3 or something like that. Yeah, they brew a lot of good beer, but they're pretty big at this point. So all I know is if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. How do you think it compares to the regular IPA? My favorite from them of what I've reviewed and what I've had is their Mastermind. I reviewed that last year. It fucking blew my mind. It really did. And the Second Fiddle's a little bit better, I think, as a whole. But maybe not better than this. I think this might be better than fucking Second Fiddle. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what you think. Anyway, I'm going to shut this one down. I'm really glad I picked up a can of this. And you should see this if you get Fiddlehead pretty much at this point. So anyway, shutting it down to the next one. Cheers.